Jokun Namdak Shingla Juparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kandiyatayami Shilang Toki Choknam La Jangchu Pardu Kakni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Jola Benchir Sangye Juparsho Chidam Toki Choknam La Jangchu Pardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Jola Benchir Sangye Juparsho Chidam Toki Choknam La Janchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Kipe Sunam Ki Jola Benchir Sangye Juparsho.
Yeah. Lay it on me.
So, welcome to Emptiness Meditations.
Yay!
On the last class, which was a long time ago. So hopefully we can remember a bit about what we were talking about. So Chili Lama is talking about the consequence branch of the Middle Way School and talking about now the emptiness of things. And he, even though he had gone through the syllogism of, the lack of one or many, in discussing the emptiness of people, he said we can talk about it in terms of things, and he's going into more detail. And then last time we met, he wrapped up that syllogism. And we're going to go on today. So this is, wrapping up.
Does that mean he's a rapper?
I'm just trying to. Okay. So when the consequence branch talks about the collection of parts in terms of dependence, what do they mean as opposed to how lower schools use collection of parts?
They include something else that the lower school's not including. The label coming from your seed.
That's nice.
Yeah, so more specifically, the collection of parts is the dashi. It's that which is awaiting a label. That's the collection of parts. So every single thing arises in dependence in the sense that it depends on other parts, those other parts being the collection, being when collected together, they're the thing that gets labeled.
Cool.
So the other is not really like other, the way other schools think about it. And the collection of parts is not like, I don't know, toe and finger, whatnot. I'll shut up. Okay, so how do the independent branch and the consequence branch differ in how they think about kunzo?
Yeah,
Or how
right.
they think about deceptive reality? Do you remember this? It was something interesting, and it sort of like ties into some other texts.
Yeah, like more
And
text.
that we've had this term.
It's 50-50.
Well, I mean, that's sort of like a general way of thinking about that, but there was just like this cute term
You mean the,
that
they
the
talked
independent branch uses, that the.
fake real and real. That was my text though.
So, independent branch holds that there do
Oh,
exist
yeah.
deceptive objects that
Correct
exist the way they
deceptive.
appear, so they accept the idea of a correct deceptive object.
Yeah.
Well, the
Right.
consequence branch says that it's impossible. No thing exists the way it appears, so there
Right.
is no such thing as a correct
Right.
deceptive
Yeah.
object.
But we're still
Which is
struggling to get your books to say it.
Yeah,
clearly.
because
Yeah, right.
Gyatso-J seemed to say that there was a correct deceptive object, and then
But that was the other guy.
But then
No,
there was
that's
the,
what
yeah,
it
Kashik.
we think
Right.
it was
It
weird.
turned out to be a they claim.
Yeah.
There was a after
Yeah.
4 paragraphs of that.
Or what, or
Right.
further away.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have an open-ended question for you, just for we'll just have a tiny discussion. So, many times throughout this book, Chuni Lama says, there's so much more detail that's very important for you to understand, But I'm afraid my book's gonna get too long, so we're just gonna go on. So is he just like in a hurry and being a bit lazy? Or is this some sort of message for us?
That's a nice question.
What do you think?
That's a
I think
thoughtful
his age
question.
is catching up and he wants people to quickly learn and not like truant.
That we shouldn't be lazy
That we shouldn't be lazy.
ourselves? Anybody else have any thoughts about
I
this?
think,
I think you should say first.
Go ahead. No, please.
No, I think you should say first.
I think he might be trying to encourage us to expand our horizon in terms of the stuff that we're studying.
You mean we should go look at the other book?
Yeah, we should, just don't stick to this, but, once you've grasped all this material, there's more.
Yeah, it
You can
represents
reference this material.
and it represents a work within a body that's much larger.
Yeah.
That is part of a balanced breakfast, not the only thing to eat for breakfast.
There's a chance he was on a deadline, like his sponsor gave him a lot of money, and he only had one book come out, and he's afraid the sponsor's gonna kill it. And
It's also like, I think he was like.
speaking
nine-
from my own point of view.
He was like, I'm guessing around 85 years old when he wrote this, and it was among the 100 that he did in the last
No, he only
10 years
lives to
of
be
his life or
73.
something. Okay, so he was 72 at the time he wrote this, and it's like, I've got a lot more of me, I gotta get out, and so.
That's
I mean,
also
that's
possible,
one possibility.
because he wrote a lot of tantric texts, very important tantric texts, wonderful tantric texts, which we should translate in the second phase.
Also later in his life.
Well, and he says it more in your book
And
than, sorry.
I'm just saying, maybe he wanted to get on to that stuff, Maybe he decided that was enough on, there was enough material about this, but there wasn't any material about like the inner body, which he spent a long time on the inner body. He spent a long time on explaining qi. The best books on qi are his books, which is kind of a long-term plan I have
Cool.
for you guys.
Great. He says it more in your book than he says it in other books, right? Which brings to mind, what is the purpose of your book? It's not necessarily to keep studying your book, but to actually take it to the cushion.
Sit down and fish.
That's
On it.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
Okay, some sexy Tibetan words.
Oh yeah, got it.
Correct.
Is it correct person?
Yeah, there's our correct. No coke to Chikawa.
10-foot call point, you gotta get in your heart or something.
Too difficult for this time.
Oh, that's cute.
Shija.
Detail.
A little bit more than that.
Shape part. Fine.
Means like particular.
Oh,
detail.
ship.
Thank you for your attention and participation.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, that has so many fine details that you have to get up close to figure
Oh,
out
that's
what it
nice.
is.
Is it a barn?
Like, is that the ocean? No, it's not. It's actually a green field.
Oh.
Really?
Is it?
Ooh.
Oh, purple.
It's a purple field.
Integrated about colors and whatnot. You may have today.
Oh, I'll take the plane. All right, here we go.
Purple Field's Majesty.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Spider-Man, Far From Home. The vacation's over. Okay. Okay, here we go. He promised us 5 proofs for emptiness. Of things or people?
Things.
Of things. He finished the proof for the emptiness of people, and now he's talking about the emptiness of things. And he gave us one already, which was the Chiktata. Things are neither one nor many, neither one nor more than one. And now he's going on to my favoritely named proof, which is called Sliver of Diamond.
I saw somewhere where these 5 were grouped together as the 5 great logical statements of the middle way school.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, they could be. But the famous statement is that intelligent people want 1,000 proofs. And then that kind of blows up the idea that people who want to see emptiness should just not learn anything and, not clutter their minds. Okay.
It's Umachita.
Yeah.
Is it saying Bodhisattva is 1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes you Mahayana. Pretty cool.
Literally infinite.
Rikpataye pegone. Rikpataye pegone. Okay, go, read. Hey, here's something we can understand.
Yay!
Yay! Maybe. Sekme. Oh, he misspelled it, right? Six, or the typist. By the way, this is what I'm afraid somebody in Mongolia could do, because you never see this, and it's correct. And this typist either consciously or subconsciously corrected it. So, and that would ruin the sentence, and the sentence could be twisted to fit the Sikh, and it would be totally wrong. So.
Could I bother you to send me a copy of this?
Yeah, I just added that just now,
Oh.
so don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, go.
Checkmate. Ten siklat chok mat ne ndu tsuni dong chen ki.
I'm gonna cut it, okay? Because there's more than one. I just figured out the structure of it. Okay, so just read this sentence in English.
But, in English. So for our second syllogism,
Good.
which is the Dorje, the sliver of diamond.
Yeah, good.
Reasoning of this.
Go about it like we did with the previous one?
No,
No.
the other guys.
Position.
Okay. So first he's gonna give positions of other groups
Oh.
about this question,
How could you tell it's the other guys?
because I read ahead. But normally Chonga is the
That's not-
Chigo.
Oh, Chog is the cheerboard.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, debator.
The guy who starts the argument is called the first half.
His name is Nago.
No, that's the.
No, it's funny, and when you say Chigo and Ngago, it's different.
So this is the opposite
Yeah.
of saying.
Or it depends who speaks first, actually.
Oh.
But normally the Chigo is the opponent. But here the Chogna is the opponent.
How do you spell Chigu?
It means ladder arguer. We're arguer. PHYIRGOL. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, what he says is, before he gives the proof, he wants to give. This proof involves mushi. Do things grow from themselves? Do they grow from something else? Do they grow from both, or do they grow from neither? And I like I like this section very, very much, and we can use it in many other books. But he says, let's go find someone who says each one is correct.
Cool. Wow.
Let's go find someone who says that something grows from itself, something grows from something else, self-existently, something grows from both, and something grows from neither. He said, let's go find some weirdos, besides the mixed nuts. Okay?
And then somehow this is going to differ from the syllogism that's called.
Yeah, Mushi Kiengo, that's a different one, yeah. Yeah, that's, and by the way, they are related though. They are interrelated.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. And it's going to start with the sun.
Okay, yeah. Now we're kind of taking a detour to Ben's text for a few minutes. Okay, please read. I loved your key. That was well done. Okay, Chirkewa. Oh, there's two good things. What? You cool. Tusu. Yeah. Shendu. Yeah, so this syllogism in a way, what Tony Lam is trying to say is this syllogism in a way is a reaction to a previous viewpoint. Choknga, right? A previous viewpoint. And the first of the options that we go through is that something could grow from itself. And usually it's just dismissed out of hand by authors and said, well, that's impossible, let's go on. But he says there's a reason why they gave that part of their syllogism, because there is somebody who believes that, and it's the Sankhya. Okay, why called Sankhya?
Because they count stuff.
Into
25 groups.
25 groups, yeah. Although 25 is the boss of them all. Okay, Tangengi. So this Hindu school, which is supposed to be the root school of yoga. I mean, it's supposed nowadays to be the root school of yoga practice, but nobody in yoga practice knows what they believe, literally. So anyway, here it is. If something were gonna grow, well, it'd have to exist.
Right.
Like, if you die, you have to exist, right, Sugang? And you can't say the child grew, but there's no child. You see what I mean? When you use the verb grow, there has to be something grows.
Yeah.
Okay. They say to say the sprout grows you guys use the phrase the sprout grows unthinkingly, because there is no sprout when the growth starts. You know, your idea that there was no sprout and then the sprout grew, but they didn't grow yet. How can you say the sprout grew? You see what I mean?
How can it be born?
How can there be a subject of that sentence who is doing what the sentence says, who's not there yet? Okay, got it? That's like saying the president decided, somebody got elected president, but he's not president, and you say he ordered something. You know what I mean?
The president got elected president.
Yeah, President Trump was elected. But he's not President Trump. He's some schmuck trying to get elected. Then after he's elected, you see what I mean? So how can you say that? They say it must somehow be there to grow. And then they have to say, okay, right? So yugope means it must already exist. Gope yang, nyuko yang, even the sprout, and the sprout included. If it didn't exist in the time of the seed, before the sprout started to grow, if the sprout were somehow not hiding in the seed, okay, how could it grow? Well, what grows? How could you say the sprout grew? You'd have to say grew, because there's no sprout yet. Okay, but you do say the sprout grows, so there must have been something in the seed that was already there. Tusu, but it was miso.
Unclear.
It was hidden or concealed, or it wasn't exactly clarified. Undefined is good. Sulki yupa, it existed in a way where it was still undefined. Ni means and nothing more. So you have to catch the ni. Only. It was only as some vague undefined thing. But it was there. Then, oh no, I wouldn't use define because it has so many connotations. Yeah, but I also wouldn't use clear. I would try to find another word. Indistinct? Indistinct? How about indistinct? Something like that. But clear is, I think people translate it as clear without thinking about it. So if you choose clear after thinking about it, I'm okay with that. But I'd say distinct maybe, but it was indistinct. Something like that, in my opinion, if it were me. And then this lar is very difficult. Because lar usually means again. Like lar yang yong means he came back. He came again a second time to the class. So
We said featureless a lot of times.
but lar selva means that's a very difficult to translate correctly, you know. It's not that it re-clarified or it became distinct or something like that. It's something like, I don't know. You see, it doesn't mean redoubled. It means,
Made itself known or something?
it doesn't mean came back as distinct. It means
It became.
turned out,
Mm.
flipped and became distinct or something like that.
Oh.
It's like the definition of a tsema.
Clear and
Sardu. It's the sardu milue rikpa.
fresh.
Oh, it's really
Yeah, you shouldn't say new.
it's un-
You should say fresh. Right? It doesn't mean it's the first time it happened. It means
sprung
it's
up.
fresh and not a memory. In that case, right? So don't blindly translate sar as new, and don't blindly translate lar as again, because it's not becoming clear again. It was never clear before. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Normally, lar means again. It became clear again, but you have to somehow say it unfolded. You see what I mean?
It's revealed.
It got revealed, yeah. It's the re and revealed, and the re and revealed doesn't mean to go backwards. That's all I'm saying, okay?
so reveal is part of the perfect.
Yeah,
Reveal
yeah.
itself?
Yeah, and then it revealed itself and grew, and therefore, that S is therefore, dake yu. Things do
Start from themselves.
grow from themselves.
Yeah.
Therefore, things do grow from themselves. Sankhya system. The tree was present in the tree seed before the tree seed split open, or else there couldn't have anything. You couldn't ever say something came out of the seed. Okay. And it kind of,
It also said
their frustration
it's not
is reflecting the fact that things are empty, and it is impossible. It is impossible for a tree to come out of a seed, because there's no tree yet.
Wouldn't they say therefore the tree could not have grown out of the seed? Not
Who would say that?
Sankhya's? Because it wouldn't be. There wouldn't.
Well, they would say the tree grew out of the seed, but it's a tree that was there to start with. But it was just not distinct, and then it got revealed. So, but you choose the language. You have time to think about it. We're under pressure of, a class, but you have days and days to think about it.
We also said like obscure from yourself.
Yeah,
We also said obscure from yourself
yeah.
earlier.
And I don't mind if you guys don't choose the same word,
Yeah.
because I know you have your own tastes.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why you're a translator. Okay,
We didn't
so
even stick to that in my
please.
text.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's the editor's gonna have to do that. Okay, I just pushed it all down so it'd be together. Please read. Oh, by the way, and I would cut this. See, he's listing other schools.
Yeah, cool.
See the pattern? The Changchambas,
Bangyopas,
the Prasangi, sorry, what are they called?
Svatantrikas.
Svatantrikas,
Chapupas.
the Jains.
Yeah.
What do you call these guys?
Janakambas.
Varti,
The ones who are way off.
Yeah, the Charvakas.
Charvakas, and he's listing, as he promised here, Chogna, other guys' beliefs.
So neat.
He's listing other guys' beliefs. Okay.
Funny that we throw in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now why they put it on Gibet? Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, it's a pretty mean
It'd
thing
be
for those
that's an essay you can get your
Right.
your graduate students to write about.
The lower middle way got
That'll be
thrown in with a bunch of
question on
nonsense.
the next quiz.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, why do you yeah, that's a very interesting question. And if you guys really went home and thought about it, you would learn something, but it's not going to happen. Okay. Rangyupa.
Rangi Soki, Miku, Tabu, Rangi, Seniki, Drupe, Yu Shenlei, Kiwi, Shen Ki, Yu Shendu.
Yeah, so the proof is things don't grow from themselves, things don't grow from something else, things don't grow from both, and things don't grow without a cause. And the tough one is the
Something else.
second one, because it looks like stuff grows from other stuff. The pen grows from the mental seed. It looks like you could say that, but the implication is Rakisaniki Dupe Gyushenle. Okay.
Yeah. Shouldn't
Well,
not.
in and of itself, or something like that. Okay, by definition. So let's read the. Can you translate the whole sentence for our Japanese guests, Chinese Japanese guests?
So the independent group and others.
Which is who?
The independent branch of the Middle East.
Good.
Probably.
Which downstairs a few days ago we called the 50-50 school.
50-50.
Half of this class is coming this way, half of it's coming from me. Okay.
And others, and probably meaning those other ones below it.
Maybe. Yeah, I think you could say that.
So they're gonna do something by those guys.
They would
They
do
would say that
Good.
they believe
Shenki, yeah.
growing from others
Yeah.
uh,
Does exist. Is possible.
is possible.
Because here's the
Oh,
yes.
right.
Because
Because
Yeah.
something like a
something like a sprout
good
does
does kiwa
does
Is
grow
born
from a Gushin.
from another cause.
from another cause in and of itself,
Yeah, from a
Which exists
which exists
from
by
a
definition.
from something else which acts as its cause and which does exist by definition. What would you, if someone said, what do you mean by exist by definition, what's something easy you could say? What do you, give me a normal example of what you mean something exists by
It's
definition.
inherited. It's just the way it is.
Everyone would like Trump because he's
I like fire, it's just easier, okay? Fire is hot by definition, because the definition of fire is
hot and burn.
the hot burning, something that burns you, so nobody made fire hot. Fire is hot by itself.
Water's wet.
Yeah, that's all. So in a way it exists by definition.
Well, in this case, right, the cause is by definition different from the result because it's that which births a result, which is necessarily different than a cause. By definition.
Well, you could say that. But the point is that the thing that causes it is something else. To say that something else causes a thing is correct in all school, in the highest school. But to say that something comes from something else, and that something else had the quality inside it of bringing that thing about by itself, that's wrong. Because it's coming from you and not from somewhere inside the cause. Okay? Cool? The husband doesn't yell because of something going wrong with him. Let's take the yelling of the husband as the result. What's the cause?
Well,
Yeah, and it's not something from him. Okay.
we're not talking about personification. We're talking about
Well, they would say it is. You say they would say it is coming from something in him. In him, I like the word "in" nowadays to replace all these Buddhist words. There's nothing in him that's making him yell. It's you. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Hopefully you can go look earlier in your text when he was talking about it and see if he gave you a clue that he's referencing.
Now, unfortunately, he now jumps to.
The Chapupas.
The jinx.
Oh no, he's gonna jump to
Mm-hmm.
apparently.
neither.
Please read.
Chabu way.
By the way, it's often chabupe, but I'm going to leave it because it's a third syllable and that's okay.
Way or what?
I wouldn't change it.
Chabu-
Like Hlasa Wa means somebody from Hlasa. Okay.
Chabu way. Sabu. Tabu.
Tabu.
Tabun.
There's a tea disease going around today.
Takni. Leke way. Take. Zakenki. Cheke. Shenke. Yamye. Chendu.
Yeah, and this could be an answer here for your graduate student. Why are they called Sherpupas?
Because they walk around with no clothes on.
Because they believe farming kills animals. Growing cotton, growing crops kills bugs, therefore they refuse to wear clothes. And they still exist, you can see them, I mean, you know what? And, but a human body who's been out in the sun for 10 years, is not that attractive to tell you the truth. So anyway, they were called Jain. Jain means naked. Okay, it's interesting because Genchair into Gen without a strengthened vowel is also Jain. Okay, anyway,
Maybe some Tibetans
So,
also called Dikambara.
The sky
Dikambara.
cloud.
Digambara. Yeah, all they wear is the sky. The only clothes they wear is the sky. It's kind of a beautiful name.
There's modern Jains that do wear clothes.
There's two
sects.
sects. There's two sects. A lot of the modern ones will wear a loincloth just to be, so they don't freak people out. But nobody gets upset in Gujarat State if you see a guy walking around no clothes on. Okay. Okay. Anyway, the naked ones. Say, and by the way, that's why they got into the diamond business. All the diamond dealers in Mumbai are Jain, like 90%. The big ones, because they think digging stones doesn't kill bugs, but digging onions does. They're not allowed to eat onions because it grows under the ground. Anyway, here we go.
Not just because
Tell
the
me-
factory workers trust they weren't sneaking out.
yeah, yeah, triple. But now, they say something like a zabum,
Clay pot.
yeah, a clay pot, grows from a self. This means Atman, okay, a big self, which already incorporates it. It's like God. Okay, so when a potter makes a pot, it's something that was part of God already. It was already incorporated into God. Okay, so it comes from the being who already incorporated it. Therefore, things grow from themselves. Things can grow from themselves. The pot was already part of God, and then the potter, it grew. Okay. So therefore things can come from themselves. But they also add that there's also, things growing from something else, because the same pot is Zaken Ki Chepa, was crafted by a potter. So when something like a pot is made, two kinds of birth are happening. The pot is coming from itself because it was always part of God and it always existed. But the potter is also revealing it in a way, so he gets credit too. So it's now, is it appropriate that a naked one comes after the 4A Buddhist school?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got one that says wrong, things grow from themselves. Then you got the second guy said things grow from something else, and then the third guy said
Neither.
it's both. It's both. Things grow from themselves and from other things. It's cool the way he did that.
It's also it's a clue that the second one, you have to be subtle to understand why it's a problem, because there's even a Buddhist school and even a member of
Yeah, that's
group
true.
in the highest school.
Yeah, that's an alert that it's probably the most difficult one, right? Now we get to the Charvakas. What's their main thing they're always accused of?
Being nihilists.
Past and future lives.
Yeah, they're one of the very few Indian groups, maybe the only one, that would say there's no past life, there's no future life. Okay. But also something else. What was the other thing?
Materialists.
Karma? They have a problem with karma or
They
something?
definitely have a problem with karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
Those are main nihilists.
it's like possible to grow up in ancient India and not believe in karma and not believe in a future life, and this is the only guys, and they're like the weirdos of all Indian philosophy.
Yeah.
Everybody else at least believes those other two, karma and past life, future life. Okay, all right, go ahead, please.
Mm.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ndumba. Ndumba. ZL is prenasal. Ndumba. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, cool.
The color of the
Colors.
Plumage?
the eye on a
Yeah, the dong is specifically the circle on a peacock's feather.
yeah, like the eye
Okay.
on a peacock's back.
Yeah, it's the eye on a peacock's feather.
The sharpness of a thorn.
Those colors, yeah, and the sharpness of a cactus thorn,
The roundness of a pea.
and the roundness of a pea. Kasaki kyang machepe. It was none of these things was crafted by people.
Yeah.
No one made peas round. No one made cactuses sharp, and no one painted peacock's feathers. Okay, therefore they are gumelekia.
They're causeless.
They happen without a cause. So that's a third possibility, right?
Yeah.
They happen without a cause, according to this school. And you know, in English we'd say it's natural. We use the word natural, and that's kind of like without a special cause. Okay. She de ching. And by the way, in Buddhism, nothing's natural. Even the lack of nature to things. Okay. Lekia shen de ching. I would take this Tamche to be all the above schools.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Do we wanna separate that out then?
well, he did Ching, which is really uncomfortable to cut it. And he put a O with 2 commas here. He really doesn't want us to cut it from that last one. Although I was tempted. I almost did it. So, you know, if you want to. Tamche Kyang, they all say what? If something grows, it grows from its own side. It grows from its own side. If something grows, it grows from its own side. Okay, good. Dao.
They say. Or it
No.
seems
Like that, it seemed.
No.
Or similar.
Tamche Da.
Look like that.
Everything is similar to that.
Tamche, all those groups, Da.
Oh, believe the similar things.
Yeah, all those groups are the same in
Nice.
believing that things come from their own side. Whether they come from no cause, with a cause, both with a cause, you know, they all believe it comes from its own side. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep going. We'll see you guys. Have a nice meditation. We'll try to walk heavy when we go to the toilet. And we'll talk, Sophie. Don't worry.
Nirgot su ko dewe. Want
Good.
to chena. Tela nyugu churche. Rangune nikete. Dapne shenle kyang. Nikale kyang. Yumele kyang kewe chu.
Good. Kodewa is an idiom. Anybody?
Oh, to begin to feel good?
This is the ko means ko, hakogumendu.
Understand.
Oh, understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go dewa.
Easy.
Oh.
Yeah, easy to understand. He says, let me make it easy for you. Okay. It's a very attractive word this morning.
Yeah.
The other guy didn't kotewa. Okay, so kotewa means let's just make it easy for you guys. Okay? Goksu means how do we deny, and it happens to be the last thing he said.
That all of them see them as
Yeah,
things on
that
the
things come from their own side.
The things come from their own side?
Yeah,
All
so-
the schools believe it comes from their own side.
How do we deny the idea that they all hold equally, that things can come from their own side? Well, let me make it easy for you. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's take. Did you read yet?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So let's take nyuku.
Sprouts.
Let's take a sprout. Rangune mikete.
Comes from
It doesn't grow from its own side, because A.
doesn't grow from itself.
And this kyang is meant to be like a kanshik, but with 4 parts.
Oh.
Well, first of all, it doesn't grow from itself. Second of all, it doesn't grow from something else. Third of all, it doesn't grow from both. And fourth of all, it doesn't grow without a cause. And he just gave you the Dorje Sigma. But he tied it into the belief that all the schools hold. So it was very skillful. It's very, very unusual what he just did. You know. He said this school believes it comes from itself, this school believes it comes from something else, but self-existent. This school believes both. This school believes things happen with no cause. They got Sharp thorns don't make nobody sharpened them, and it but they're all the same in the sense that they believe that things come from their own side, and I'll prove to you they don't come from their own side. They don't come from their own side because they don't come from themselves. They don't come from something else. They don't come from both. They don't come from something. He did a beautiful thing. He brought it back to the original argument, which is really, it's like painting a masterpiece. This last paragraph is like a masterpiece. He was in some kind of mood when he wrote your text. I don't know.
So, could you please repeat the role that Tom plays?
Yeah, it's a kanshik, except with 4 elements. He didn't pay me. He didn't pay me by check. He didn't pay me by cash. He didn't give me a credit card, and his sister didn't come to give the money. And it just means A, B, C, D. Okay. So I might put, if it were me, I would put 1 in parentheses, 2 in parentheses, 3. And Rinpoche, in his, when he was learning English, he'd say, it also doesn't come from itself. It also doesn't come from something else. It also doesn't come from both. And you could say neither does it come from this, nor that, nor that, nor that, but it's a little uncomfortable with 4 elements. Yeah.
Geshe, how come they don't have to use the kyang after the dagle?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's not also yet.
Because it's not also. Okay.
But it's a great question.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a. By the way, sometimes they will put a count in there. Okay, just some people will put a count in there. Okay. You ready?
Tangpo
I'm gonna go this way because it's referring back to here. Dumble.
Tangpo drupte, rangi ju dune drup sini kiwe.
Yeah. Now I just wanna offer $10. There hasn't been much money lately, for certain reasons. What's sin for 10?
No, past tense or.
Yeah, $10 shopping to the usual place. Do you report this all on your? Never mind. It's a gift, right? You didn't have to work.
So far, at one.
So, things don't grow from themselves, because that was the first of the 4 options, right here. Things don't grow from themselves, because if they did, then something which had troop sin would have to kick.
Something that had
Yeah, something that had already come out would have to come out. Okay, so things don't grow from themselves. Okay, who does that refute?
The first,
Who was that?
the Sankhya.
Yeah, the Sankhya's who said the tree was sitting there in the seed and then it was revealed. Okay, the veil was thrown off and the statue was already finished. Okay, yeah, Rangi Gyutu Natrusi. Yeah, and there's the past tense of subgroup, right, which already existed. Okay, all right, and he's gonna go on this one for a while. Okay, please read. And by the way, this is a very famous argument of why the Sankhyas are wrong. Very famous.
tell. They do se drup sinan uli. La yang kiwa la gupa make
Mm-hmm. Anybody want to take a shot?
Because if it existed,
I'll say it this way. If the tree were all already in the seed, then...
You would constantly have trees coming out.
No, he didn't. You're skipping ahead. All he says is gupa me.
There's no need for it to.
Yeah, there's no point. What's the point? If the tree's already in the seed, then why should it pop out? What's the point? It's already a tree. So why should it come out and seed? It could just stay there and be a tree. Okay? There's no point. Okay? Then he says, well, there would be a point. He wants to, he's hard-headed. And he says, well, but there would be a point. And we say, that how? No, there's no point because, please read.
gupa yuna.
Yuna.
Yang
Yeah.
yang ke gupe, dupe du ke war your way.
Yeah. What's that mean?
If
No tupa, right?
You
No,
would
no
meet
soup
with the-
today. No soup today.
Nothing left of
no meats, right?
We
Nah.
get born again and again.
necessarily
If-
for it to come again and again.
If it were necessarily, if it did have to,
If a tree had to come out of the seed, even though it was already there,
if it
Power,
were
you have the
necessary,
power to keep coming
if
again.
it,
It would
would
just
it be,
keep-
if it were necessary?
yeah, then it would have to be. It'd be like an aging rock star. It would have to reinvent itself every second. You know, it would have to then put out another one, then have to put out another one. If it went till 3 o'clock, it'd have to be 50 of them. If it went to 4 o'clock, there'd have to be 200 of them. If going from seed to tree the first time, the tree is already in the seed, then unnecessarily a tree is going to a tree. Well, then in the second instant, the tree would have to produce another tree unnecessarily also. An unnecessary production of extra trees would be tugme, endless. Okay, tug means they're ending. Okay, tug means could it come to a place where it meets, right? Meaning, could there be a last one? And he says no. You'd have to keep. If it's necessary for the tree to make a tree to come out of the seed when it's already a tree in the seed, then in the second moment of the tree, it'd have to make another tree to come out of the tree, because if this tree that already was in the seed had to make another tree to come out, then for the tree to go into the second moment of the tree, they'd have to produce another tree, and then in the third moment, they have to make another tree, and then it's endless. Okay.
Yang,
Yeah, over and over. So translate yang yang is over and over. It would have to be born again and again, over and over again. Okay.
Kind of is.
Say again?
It kind of is.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, keep going.
Sort of disagree. Shenyang, takke me part, ranki, kui, du, su, drup, sin, injure me, du, kewa, me, beige.
Yeah,
More,
moreover, dake mata.
it doesn't, not grow.
No things can't grow from themselves,
Mhm.
because and now I'll just read it for you. It couldn't be the case that a tree that already existed in the seed could come out of the seed without changing into something else. Yurme, you see? Without some kind of change. Okay? Without some kind of change. Which is what you're saying it does do. If you ask them, is the tree that's inside the seed the same as the tree that's outside of the seed the next moment? They'd say, well, yeah. And then we'd say, well, now you're talking about an impossible thing. Because you're talking about a functioning thing that doesn't change over 2 moments. That's all. Okay. Now you've gone too far. If your idea of a tree that's present inside the seed is correct, then the tree that comes out of the seed would have to be different from the tree that was inside the seed, and then it's not that tree anymore. Because if it didn't change, it would have to be an unchanging thing, like space. Okay, yeah. Therefore, there's another reason why the tree can't be in the seed. Okay?
1 minute, Geshe.
And because don't forget, it didn't grow, it was revealed. The cloth was torn off the statue. The statue was already there. Their idea is that the statue didn't change after you pulled the cloth off. Okay? Okay.
There tell, sabundam parman, your shindun, drepu, kewa, me, beige, your.
I want to say $50 for the Shindu, but let's say 50. What the heck? Keep people awake. The Shindu is worth $50.
If it was like that.
So it would be a thing
10,
that
9.
had a nature.
Bob Harper on the second side. 765. 432.
The effect and the
0.
speed would be the same.
I win again. It's that present participleizer. It's an ing. Okay. Okay. In the presence of a case where the seed were not changing. If the seed didn't change, its type, its aspect. Okay. And Shindu means in in an ongoing instance where, okay, present participle, if the seed were not transforming as the tree came out,
Couldn't give rise
okay,
to it.
present tensorizer, what was the past tensorizer?
Sin.
Sin. So shin is, he's playing with sin and shin. There's sin, and here's shin. Okay, so if the seed didn't go through any transformations,
Changing.
then how could there be any result come out? Okay, cool. All right. And here we go again.
We're over time.
Oh, sorry.
Or-
Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it's such a good stopping point.
It is a good starting point. 9, 20. 20, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's that date rings a bell for some reason?
I don't know.
So
Shibuki, Shimeto-chan, Rirabing Shin Degabadi, Sange Shindu Mite Uwagi, Dokun Abdashin Ajubarsho, Yami, Di Kewokun, Sanam Yeshe Totoshin, Sanam Yeshe Lechume, Tamba Kuni Topasho, Shogity Dogity. Yay, a text we can understand. Who's next?
Parallel